Straightforward video. It's a super easy project. If I wasn't filming it, I'd be done in 10 minutes. You've done hundreds of videos. This one is no different. Just because you haven't done one in like a month. Hi, I am Nicky Clements, and I used to make stuff like this. I am in my laundry room today where I recently discovered some more untapped potential storage space. All this space right here has just gone unused for basically a decade. And today I'm going to take advantage of it. Much like the way I took advantage of similar space upstairs in the craft room, I'm going to do kind of a hanging shelf, but instead of PVC pipe this time, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Now, the ceiling in my basement is a drop ceiling, so I'm going to take advantage of that by using this special bracket. It's just a cleverly designed clip that you put over the run of the drop ceiling, squeeze it shut, and you have a really secure mounting point on your drop ceiling. It's a really clever clip, and it's usually designed for mounting things like security cameras or stuff like that. You can get them for about $3-4 on Amazon a piece, so they're a little expensive, but in this case, I think it's gonna be a great option. You can get these hooks, which are super cheap. You could get a whole handful of them for a few dollars, and they can clip on in a much similar way. And that would be a much more inexpensive route, and then you could rig something up to this. But I just think this is gonna be a lot cleaner and a lot more straightforward. So let's talk about the rest of the shelf. Now I could actually use PVC for this part. I could glue a nut into the PVC and screw it on there. You could use a dowel. And again, you could even use these hooks and just use chain or a rope. But I'm actually just going to use some threaded rod. Now again, this is about $2.50, so not the cheapest option, but definitely not the most expensive option. And to attach it to the bolt up there, I'm just going to use a coupler bolt, and that's just as easy as screwing one end on and screwing the other end on. And so now we have this perfect support. We just do two of those on the front, and then all we have to do is secure it to the wall. And again, for that, I could do similarly to what I did with the PVC before, but I'm just gonna use some cheap shelving brackets. These are, again, about $2-3, and they're gonna look pretty nice. So all I really need to do is cut my board for this shelf, secure all this in place, and I'm done. Like I said, this is a really easy project, and it's gonna give me a great shelf and allow me to take advantage of a whole ton of storage space in this room. Ow. Shelf board all cut, and now I can just fit it in here. and see how low down I want it. I guess about here seems good. Let's make a mark roughly there. Then I can just put these up. I might as well see if I can find a stud. Why not? Now that's a little close to that electrical box for me, but it should be fine. Well, that looks pretty good. I can still use the space underneath it, and then I have a ton of space above it. So I'm just going to get these put in place for the front supports. Now it would be better to attach these to the rungs versus the stretchers, because these are actually tied into the 2x4, where these just have a small lip that rests on the rungs. But just the way the shelf is, it doesn't quite line up to where I'd like it. I suppose I could put one here and then the other one on the stretcher. It'd be a little offset, but I might as well do that. There we go. There's one. And there's two. Now I can screw my threaded rod in and can cut it off right about there. So I'll take that out and just make that a little bit shorter. Now with my threaded rod cut to length, I just need to figure out where I need to drill the holes in the shelf. So I'm just going to put this roughly in place. Alright, I thought of a much better way to get the accurate hole position. I just glued a string to a bolt, so I can screw the bolt into the coupler, and then I have a weight on the bottom of the string, and then I can just let that dangle down, and that puts my spot right there. So I was pretty close. And actually it looks like I might have to offset just a little bit. Yeah, a pendulum like this can definitely come in handy for doing stuff like that. I can just drill out my holes. I just feed in my rod. My threaded rod. And add a washer and nut. How are we on level? Pretty good. And add a small screw down here to keep it from sliding around. And just check level in this direction real quick. It's super easy to adjust. Just tighten up or loosen these nuts. And there you have it. That was incredibly easy, and even filming, that went considerably fast. I am super happy with it. I think it looks awesome. It's quite sturdy. I really like the drop ceiling attachments and this threaded rod. And you could do this with a normal ceiling too. Instead of the bracket, you would use a hanger bolt. It's basically a screw and a bolt combined. You screw that into your ceiling, and then it's the same with the coupler nut and the threaded rod. And if you need a more beefier shelf, you could just use a larger screw and a larger threaded rod. And if you're not particularly keen on the look of the threaded rod, you could easily dress it up. You could, of course, put a piece of PVC pipe over it, or even some of this cable tubing, which offers a slightly different look. I'm perfectly fine with the look of the threaded rod. This is exactly what I wanted. I still have access to the ledge and the shelf down below, but now I have a ton of extra space up above for, you guessed it, cardboard. Now, why do I have so much cardboard? Well, it's pretty simple. You see, anytime I need a piece of cardboard, well, that's a really nice piece of cardboard. I should probably save that for something special. So, my sincere thank you for watching. Once again, I am Nick D. Clements. If you're wondering, Nick is short for Nicholas, and the D stands for drop ceiling. Anyway, I'm off to make something else.